Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. With reference to Juvenile Justice Act, which of the following statements are correct? A child in conflict with law cannot be sentenced to death or life imprisonment without the possibility of release. A child in conflict with law has to be sent to a place of safety till he attains the age of 18 years and thereafter the person shall be transferred to a jail. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is one only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Juvenile Justice Act. Let us try and understand what are these options. Before that, let's have a brief idea about the Juvenile Justice Act. When it comes to the Juvenile Justice Act, there are two important provisions. One is the provision which speaks about child in conflict with law. The other is a provision which speaks about child who is seeking further protection. Who is a child in conflict with law? A child in conflict with law is an individual who is less than 18 years of age. So any individual who is less than 18 years of age has committed an offense is called as a juvenile. So a juvenile is a person who is less than 18 years of age and has committed an illegal act. So a person in conflict with law is an individual who is less than 18 years of age and has committed an illegal act. So this act basically deals with a person who is in conflict with law. Added to it, there is a child who is an orphan abandoned by the parents, there is no guardian, and happens to be a beggar on the ground. In such a case, the child seeks for the protection. So, this act, the Juvenile Justice Act, also takes care of all those children who are less than 18 years of age, who are orphaned, who are beggars, who do not have their parents to take care of. This is what is Juvenile Justice Act. When it comes to a person who is in conflict with law, there are three types of offences. One is what is called as the petty offence. What is this petty offence? Let's say there is an individual who's committed an offense whose imprisonment is for a maximum of 3 years. So an individual committing such an offense has committed a petty offense. Let's say for example, causing simple hurt, theft or forgery comes under the petty offense. Then we have something called as the serious offense. What is a serious offense? If there is an individual who is less than 18 years of age has committed an offense where the imprisonment period is from 3 to 7 years, such individual has committed an offense of serious category. Then there is an individual who has committed an heinous offense. What is a heinous offense? For which imprisonment is beyond 7 years. So in the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015, what we have is a new category. What happens? Let's say there is an individual who is between the age group of 16 to 18 years. This person has committed a heinous offense. What are we focusing on? We are focusing on the heinous offense. If such a person has committed an heinous offense, we will have something called as the Juvenile Justice Board. The Juvenile Justice Board will make a preliminary analysis. It will try and understand if that particular person, an individual between 16 to 18 years, has the mental and the physical capacity to commit such an offense. He could understand the consequences of the offense, and the circumstances of the case will also be identified by the Juvenile Justice Board. After this identification, if the Juvenile Justice Board feels that this particular person has committed this crime as an adult and not as a child, in such a case, the same case will be referred to the child's court, and the children's court will put this particular person behind bars. So if you look into the first option, a child in conflict with law cannot be sentenced to death or life imprisonment without the possibility of release, which means the child's court, if it is awarding a particular punishment, such a punishment will require a surety from the court of law that he will be released after certain years. Life imprisonment cannot be given to this individual. Death penalty cannot be given to this individual who is between the age group of 16 to 18 years, who has committed the heinous offense. Now if you look into the second statement, a child in conflict with law has to be sent to a place of safety till he attains the age of 18 years. This is a wrong statement. It is not 18 years, but instead it is 21 years. What does this mean? If the children's court decides that this is a person who is between 16 to 18 years, has committed a heinous offense, in such a case, he will not be sent to jail immediately, but until 21 years, he would be sent to a place of safety. After 21 years, he would be sent to jail. So it is not 18, but instead 21. So the second option is wrong, which is is why the answer to this is 1 only. Now let's look into the next practice question. The golden triangle of the Indian Constitution includes which of the following articles? Article 14, Article 17, Article 19, Article 20, Article 21, Article 32. The answer to this is 1, 3 and 5, which is Article 14, Article 19 and Article 21. So 14, 19 and 21 are part of the golden triangle of the Indian Constitution. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Article 19. When it comes to the golden triangle, we have three important articles. One is Article 14, the other is 19 and 21. Article 14 deals with right to equality, Article 19 deals with right to freedom, and Article 21 speaks about right to life and liberty. These three fundamental rights together are called as the golden triangle. The article here also makes a mention of what is called as the externment order. What is this externment order? Let's say for example there is a habitual offender, or let's say for example there is a gang, or let's also call it as a underworld gang. This underworld gang or a habitual offender is present in one of the areas, or he is operating in a particular jurisdiction, or he is present in a particular district. He conducts all his illegal criminal offenses from that particular area, from that particular jurisdiction, from that particular district. So what do the police officers do? They believe that if this particular person is present in that particular region, he would be able to operate, conduct his criminal activities. So the police officers decide that this person should be expelled from that particular area, region, district, so that there is peace and tranquility prevalent in that particular region. So an externment order is an order released by the executive whereby a gang or a habitual offender or the so-called underworld gang operating in that particular region is expelled from that particular region or from that district, so that that district and that area is under the control of the police, and such a person does not conduct any criminal activities in that particular area. So the Supreme Court has held that a person cannot be barred by authorities from entering a place purely on the basis of suspicion, but they should also have evidences and facts that such a person has committed such an offense in the past, and this has led to violation of peace and tranquility in such an area. Only after they have the evidence they can expel a person. Without that, only on the basis of suspicion, they cannot issue externment orders, says the Supreme Court of India. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Indian Ocean Naval Symposium. It is a series of meetings held every 2 years. IONS was conceived by the Indian Navy in 2014. It includes 24 nations that permanently hold territory that abuts or lies within the Indian Ocean. Which of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Indian Ocean Naval Symposium. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, yes, it is a series of meetings which is held biennially, that is every 2 years. The IONS was conceived by the Indian Navy not in 2014, but instead it was in 2008. The third statement says it includes 24 nations that permanently hold territory. Yes, this is a right statement, and it also has 8 observer states as well. Since the first and the third statement are right, the answer to this would be 1 and 3 only. So what is this Indian Ocean Naval Symposium? This is a series of meetings which are held every 2 years. These meetings are held between various coastal states that are located in the Indian Ocean region. So this happens to be a voluntary initiative. They all come together, they discuss about the maritime security issues, and ultimately they enter into a consensus so that there is cooperation among the countries who are part of the Indian Ocean region. So they would have all the discussions with respect to the maritime issues. They exchange the information between the navies, and ultimately there is peace and tranquility prevalent in the Indian Ocean region. So the Indian Ocean Naval Symposium has about 24 member states. It has about 8 observing countries. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. 10-degree channel separates the Andaman Islands and Nicobar Islands from each other in the Bay of Bengal. India's only confirmed active volcano is located in Barren Island. Which of the above statements are incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is none. Why? That is because both the statements are right. When we look into the 10-degree channel, yes, it is the 10-degree channel which separates the Andaman from Nicobar Island, and we also have the Barren Island as well, which is the only island in India which has an active volcano. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Nicobar Islands. Remember, we have a new genus of parasitic flowering plant which has been recently discovered from Nicobar group of islands. The genus happens to be Septemeranthu, which grows on the plant species of Horsfieldia glabra. This plant was found on the periphery of the tropical forest in one of the biodiversity hotspots referred to as the Nicobar group of islands, separated from the Andaman group of islands, says this article. So remember, the Septemeranthus grows on the plant species Horsfieldia glabra, which can be important from the preliminary examination point of view. Now let's look into the next practice question. In India, the central banks function as the lender of last resort, usually refers to which of the following? Lending to trade and industry bodies when they fail to borrow from other sources, providing liquidity to the banks having a temporary crisis, lending to governments to finance budgetary deficits. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The answer to this is 2 only. That is, the central bank, which is the Reserve Bank of India, only provides liquidity to the banks having a temporary crisis. It does not lend or borrow from other sources. It does not lend to governments to finance budgetary deficits. So the answer to this is 2 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2021. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Theyyam. What is this Theyyam? This happens to be a popular ritual form of dance worship where in the state of Kerala, and it is also practiced in few pockets of Karnataka but predominantly in the state of Kerala. This includes dance, it includes music, it also includes mimes as well. So basically this is a ritual practiced in the state of Kerala where you have some of the ancient tribals who gave a lot of importance to the worship of heroes and the spirits of their ancestors. This is being continued from generations after generations, where it is about respecting the spirit of their ancestors. It is also about spirit worship. It is about ancestor worship. It is about tree worship. It is about animal worship. It is about serpent worship. It is about the worship of the goddess of the disease and the worship of the Grama Devata or the village god. All these are part of the Theyyam cult. These performers who perform this ritualistic dance wear heavy makeup, and they also have the flamboyant costumes as shown in the image. So the Theyyams are performed in sacred groves and other places, usually once in a year, and that is what is called as Kaliyattam. So if it is practiced once in a year in front of the sacred grove, that is called as Kaliyattam, and if it is performed after many years, it is called as Peram Kaliyattam. It is this that we have to understand in reference to the fact of the day. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.